Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It feels like it's been so long now. I am really excited to share with you some of my new samples. I did this just for you guys. I have a really big fragrant list of perfumes I really want to smell and get to know, but I know that the ones I'm going to be getting are a little bit harder to get. So when I was thinking of getting these fragrances, I really was aiming to get something that is sample sized so I can give you guys my feedback, also for myself to get to know fragrances a little bit more, but didn't want to pay for the whole bottle even though they're quite expensive. So I have to say I've gotten 70 new fragrances, but they're all samples, so we're all good. I plan on keeping these for a long time and hopefully giving you some more feedback. I've had them maybe around a week now, so I have been wearing some of them, but as you can imagine, these are really small testers. They're 2 ml testers, so they might not perform the way the big bottle does, but I think it definitely sets you an impression of what it looks like. So the first fragrance we're really going to talk about here is Infrad Luxe by Zimaya. This bottle looks absolutely amazing, guys. When I tell you, I have thought about this fragrance a lot, and I just thought, you know what, the bottle looks gorgeous and it looks like a perfume oil bottle. I don't know, like I kind of want it to be a 50 ml, a 30 ml because it's just so cute and pretty. But I've decided, but it's actually 100 ml as far as I know. So let's talk about this fragrance. So this fragrance is, in terms of DNA, this is supposed to be said that it's close to vanilla powder and to souvenir, blooming something, you know, the red one. I'll put a picture on the side to make it a little bit easier. But that's what they say this fragrance smells like. I have smelt vanilla powder. It's definitely on my must buy list and definitely one of the ones I might end up spending niche money on. But because for the reasons that it's long lasting, it's powdery, and it's a beautiful vanilla fragrance. I don't think there's a lot of vanillas that do vanilla that well. I think the only one that I particularly really loved that did almost as close as that isn't even Escapade Gourmand or Amore Cafe. It is literally what you wouldn't expect that fragrance to be, but it's Ebar by Rassasi. There's something about the way they just do like a plain, simple, sweet vanilla so well. So it's a really on a must buy. I have actually gotten a sample of Souvenir Blooming Bliss here, so please stay around and watch that. I'll also try to get a little bit better in linking things now, but anyways, my point is this is not those DNAs at all. I will not come here and lie to you. It does not smell like vanilla powder. It does not smell like Blooming Bliss. In fact, what it does smell like is Ajwad by Lattafa, and also smells like a perfume that I recently got, Rassasi Mali. And oh my gosh, the DNA is absolutely amazing. But if you're one of those people who absolutely hated the metallic note in the vanilla in Ajwad, I will say it's a little bit more synthetic. This is a lot better blended, but the metallic note is definitely shining. In Mali, it's so well blended, guys. When I tell you it's so beautifully blended, but the metallic note, you can't hide past it. So I do have to say you do need to like that. I'm really interested to see that in the notes here on Fragrantica, they don't mention that note at all. I'm not gonna come now. It has been maybe a month, 2 months since I smelled vanilla powder, but what I remember from that fragrance, it does not smell like this. There is a metallic note, and I'm pretty sure what all these DNAs are actually taking inspiration from is magic. Now, I haven't smelled it on my own yet. I really hope to get that fragrance Al Jazeera fragrances, but they're so hard to find and they're so pricey. But I definitely feel like when the time comes, I will cash out and get those. But I'm just here to say Infrad Luxe is not. So they say here you have some vanilla, some Palo Santo, some coconut, some caramel, some white musk, and some sandalwood. What I have to say here is immediately you get some vanilla, you get some coconut. Palo Santo, I don't know what it smells like. You have some white musk, but the caramel is not even front and center. If anything, it's adding a little bit of sweetness. But what they don't have here is a strong metallic note. There is no confusing it. This is one of the fragrances that I definitely feel like it could have replaced my Mali because I love it so much. But Mali is beautifully blended. This metallic note, though it's not as screechy as it is in Ajwa. I'll put a picture. I feel like I might be saying that name wrong, but even though I feel like it's a little bit more screechy, this is the one that sits right in the center. It's not screechy, but the metallic note is not, it is challenging. It's made to leave an impression. And this fragrance really does that well. It lasts something, now in a sample wise, this projected insane. It projected insane. I think I got something like 6 hours, and that's from a tiny little 6 ml one spray, and that tells you that this is gonna be absolutely beast mode and no one can tell me otherwise. I would definitely buy this if I didn't have my Mali and I didn't know what Mali was, but because Mali is so much better blended and it's a little less challenging because they add some powders. I'll definitely add a review of that fragrance. Lately, unfortunately, I've been so busy, guys, and I'm in the middle of a move, so it's a lot of stress. So anyways, the next fragrance that I have here was Asad Bourbon. Now, as you guys know, I'm really trying to get into my masculine fragrances a little bit, so I can offer something a little bit different for you guys. And also because I know I actually like a lot of masculine leaning fragrances, so I really want to test my I don't know what the end of that sentence is, but I want to test myself. Maybe that's how that sentence is supposed to end. And see how I like and give you guys more opinions. Now, this is supposed to smell like fragrances I haven't smelled before. As you can imagine, I think this will start happening a lot more as I try new fragrances that are masculine leaning. But it says it smells like Azaro Most Wanted. Now, I haven't smelled anything in this DNA at all. I mean, 4 fragrances down, what they have is Stronger With You Intense, but I definitely feel like they're not that close. So yeah, that's my feedback there. So it opens up with some lavender, some pink pepper, and some Mirabelle. I've never smelled Mirabelle before. And then you have some coca, some Davana, some nutmeg, some bourbon vanilla, some amber, and some vetiver. Now, okay, I kind of get where they're going with the Stronger With You idea. I think this is definitely a lot less sweeter and more tuned into the spicinesses and the green notes rather than that honey, amber, sweet take on Stronger With You. If you know, this is like the more masculine version, the Stronger With You that you can wear throughout the summer. This is definitely something that it definitely comes off a little bit more cologne, and I definitely think that's up from the lavender, the Davana, and the vetiver. Now, you guys know me, I'm insane about the vetiver. Like, I love it so much. What I'm really falling in love with this fragrance, actually, the more I'm smelling it, is that coconut. They don't have the honey, maybe it's the vanilla and the nutmeg. It's so beautifully blended. This is the kind of fragrance that I see someone I love is just like cozying together, like just the mix of masculine green notes with that sweet, balanced take and cozy feel. Like, I really don't know, like, it's definitely an all year round fragrance. I think this is a definite, like, I can't see a man not enjoying, well, a man who likes these kind of fragrances not enjoying it, because it's for someone who just strikes the balance of being sweet and being green, cologne and sweetness. I think this is a definite must buy if you really like it. I personally like it, but I will be honest, would I buy this for my partner? I think I would think twice, because I would like, just because I'm a perfume nerd, I definitely would get them something more, you know, something that I really spent my time getting to know, and something more unique. I definitely feel like this DNA specifically doesn't feel unique. It feels kind of designer quality, but it's one of those fragrances that would leave an impression if you wore it, you know, that kind of thing. So for that sake, I might gift it to some other men in my life that like these kind of fragrances, but I wouldn't I wouldn't buy it personally for my partner because I like something more unique. Now, do you guys have any unique fragrances that you feel like are particularly Middle Eastern and more affordable, but do you have any that you particularly love to wear as men, or that you have really appreciated your men wearing that is unique and very more in the masculine side of things that I wouldn't personally, you know, go out of my way to smell? Let me know. I would be really interested, whether it's a niche DNA, a designer DNA. I'm open to everything. But yeah, I would be interested. In terms of longevity, I actually haven't properly tried that out, but it projects. It definitely projects. And I have to say, I hate lavender, so I'm not even tempted to put that on my skin just yet. It wasn't one of those that I was excited to wear. I think with vanilla bourbon, not vanilla bourbon, with Asad bourbon, I really expected it to have a more honeyed, a more alcohol-y, even though there is no alcohol, but when you call it bourbon and it's brown, I expected some chocolatiness. None of that. It's just green, spicy, like spicy in the sense of like nutmeg and almost kind of like cardamom-y, but so you have that green, that sweetness, and then the spiciness. It definitely comes off all year round, wearing like it can be a fresh fragrance. Now, another fragrance that I got, now this is so hard to smell in the bottle, which tells you that it doesn't project well. This is Khair Confection. This is supposed to be a take on another Kayali fragrance, which is, what is it? Vanilla Rock Candy. I have to admit, that is another reason why I've gotten this as a sample, because I've just not been tempted to try any of the Kayali sweet fragrances or any of the Khair collection. But I am glad that I finally got them as samples, because it can give you guys a little bit of an impression, also myself. So this opens up as pear and whipped cream, and then you have some kashmiran, some jasmine, some ylang ylang, and then you have some vanilla, marshmallow, sandalwood. Immediately when you smell this, you smell that whipped cream, that vanilla, that pear, and that marshmallow. Those are the four notes that are really pushing this fragrance forward. I really love how the whipped cream and the marshmallow almost like combine in texture and taste. Well, not taste, but like smell, but you can almost like really taste them. They're so creamy and fluffy. It's a beautiful fragrance. And then you have the jasmine and ylang ylang, and what I really appreciate about that is that they're not floral forward. I feel like, you know, with it just adds a little bit of complexity and depth to the fragrance. I think otherwise the fragrance would end up just being juvenile and like, you know, honestly not being interesting and too linear. But I think the florals really add like a texture to the fragrance. But I have to say that they are creamy florals, so I am liking these. They're not heady, they do not jar me, and you know me with jasmine and lavender are not my favorites, so this could easily go wrong really fast. But this does not. It's more so fluffy, kind of like that marshmallow texture, which is kept by the texture of the florals. So they give that, you know, that exact texture, that kind of like candy-ish texture of the outside and the inside of a marshmallow. Exactly that. I like it. I like it a lot. Do they say it's similar to anything else? They say it's similar to La Belle and Vanilla Sugar. Like, honestly, it's a beautiful fragrance, but I think where I'm at right now, I'm actually really interested. I've worn it once, and it obviously didn't leave an impression, because if I have to come up close to smell it now, and I have to come up close to smell it now, like it's already giving, it doesn't last that long, especially when I wore it. So a lot of people are saying it's like moderate longevity and moderate sillage. And I think I quite agree with that, but this definitely is giving 2 hours, 4 hours max. This definitely did not last less than 30 minutes, if I'm being absolutely candid with you. But again, these are samples, so take that as a grain of salt, because also I'm not wearing them like I would wear a perfume. I'm just doing one spritz and seeing how they perform and how the fragrance actually takes over. I'm not in a rush to get that fragrance. In fact, it's not really my type. It's giving kind of juvenile, sweet, and I don't know. I really like my complex fragrances. I think I am a complex person, so I really wouldn't reach for something like this unless maybe I was sleeping. But even in a house, like, I wouldn't want that to smell like that. I maybe might like my shower gels to smell like that, but I don't know, it's really not my type. But I definitely think this is the kind of fragrance that anybody and everybody can wear. Even though it leans quite feminine, I feel like because it kind of feels very lotiony and very shower jelly, and not shower gel, but like it feels very kind of like lotion, self-care, like sweet. I definitely think anyone could wear it off. All you will do is smell clean. Obviously on a woman it would smell more candy-ish, but I really feel like anybody could wear this, even babies. So there is no age to this fragrance. I think you just have to be a little bit more comfortable with I'm thinking of fragrances like Idol, even though that's beautiful fragrance that I think obviously it's not in comparison to this, but if you know how soapy and clean it can feel, I think this is where they go with that. And I really think it's coming from the florals most of the time. Yeah, so next fragrance we have here is Eclaire. Guys, you know that I had been thinking about buying this fragrance. I almost bought it. I found it for like something like 30 euro, and I was just about to press the button, and then I decided not to. And here's the reason why. The reason why I didn't end up spending that money on Eclaire is because I know myself. I really want Bianco Latte, but that is probably one of those fragrances I'll get 2 years from now. I'm not in a particular rush. There's other fragrances that I enjoy more than that DNA. I tried it when I was in Brussels, and it just was so milky that it kind of turned me off in a bad way. And that's not to say the fragrance is not lovely or complex. It is complex. It's florals and it's milk. But and to be honest, it's so beautifully blended, but it's just not one of those fragrances that I would run to. The most reason why I would get it is for status and for the sake that it lasts long. And to be honest, Bianco Latte is something like 100 euro, 110 euro. If you get it at a really decent price, you won't get it for more than 135. So I'm kind of like, I would rather get the fragrance because it will last long. And maybe in a year or 2 years, that price will have dwindled down by a lot. And the longevity on that fragrance is insane, and the sillage is insane. I feel like if I don't enjoy the DNA that much, if I'm gonna get a fragrance, it's mostly because how well it performs. I like people to smell me and have an impression. So I have to say that is one of those fragrances that I am not too eager to get, and I almost did it just for the clout. Now, so glad I didn't, because also sometimes you have to remind yourself you don't like that DNA. And when I smelled this, everybody was saying, it's so close, so close to Eclaire. And I have to say, maybe it's the way it's coming off now, but immediately, actually no, I can still feel it. The biggest thing that, you know what, everybody can have their opinion, but I'm gonna be as candid to you as I honestly feel. This, to me, this would not convince me to buy this over Bianco Latte. If I remember that fragrance well, it's so powdery, it's so lovely, the texture is so well blended. I just don't understand. And maybe I'm remembering that fragrance, I put it up on a pedestal and it's been 4 months now, and maybe I'm not remembering it properly, but to me, I just don't see how people are comparing these at all. Like in the sense of crafting and getting to that DNA, it's close. But in terms of blending, longevity, and in fact, I feel like for the first time, a lot of people say they smell that rubber feeling from Lattafa fragrances. And maybe it's actually because it hasn't macerated, but I definitely feel the rubber fragrance, the rubber texture in this fragrance, and maybe it's coming from the florals, but I don't remember feeling that way about Bianco Latte. I remember the milk being forefront, I remember the florals being forefront, and I remember a powdery vanilla that's so stripped back and just pour like in the bottom of the milk. Like, that's what I remember. But this this is not giving me that note. And I'm almost scared to go into detail as to like why I feel like it's so different, because to me, it's been 4 months and everybody is saying that this is a replacement, but it just wouldn't. I feel like if longevity was better and the blending was better, maybe I would have considered it. And already the DNA, I don't like it, so I'm really kind of like side-eyeing that one. So that's my own opinion. So you know what, each to their own. I definitely will say that I enjoyed Blanche Bête more, and that when I went on that trip, it went Amore Cafe, Blanche Bête, and what's that for? Bianco Latte. Bianco Latte was one of those that kind of threw me off, you know. It's like, what is that? I don't know how to feel about that. So yeah, so let me know, do you feel the same way that I'm feeling, or is it just me because I haven't smelled Bianco Latte in so long and I've put it up on a pedestal? Let me know what you think. The next fragrance I was really excited to get. This is a pricey Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrance. This is a pretty coin. It's coming up to 138 euro, and but the bottle is absolutely gorgeous. So I just thought, I'm getting all these samples, I might as well go ahead and get Zumar. Zumar is this kind of, it reminds me of, what's that fragrance? The fragrance we tried a couple of months ago. Royale Sheila? Yes, I think so. But with a skanky oud. I think it's a Royale Sheila. I'm trying to remember all my fragrances in that DNA that I've smelled. I think it's a Royale Sheila. I think it's a Royale Sheila with a skanky oud. That is the difference. The kind of skanky oud that's not like super skanky. It's definitely pulled back, but it has a little bit of like in it. Like it gives, you know, I work on a farm, you know. You know, I'm still a pretty girl, but I work on the farm. But it's not front and center. I think they just gave it a beautiful twist to the fragrance. This is a beautifully blended fragrance. I don't know, guys. Am I really thinking of a Royale Sheila? I'm looking at the notes. So we have saffron, some pear, some red berries, some Kinam Oud Accord, and then in the heart you have some gardenia, some jasmine, some Bulgarian rose, some rose grass, and some frangipani. And then in the bottom you have some brown sugar, some amber, some oud, some white musk, some cocoa, some patchouli, and some rose resins. Now I absolutely have to say, this is one of those fragrances I actually didn't try a lot. I think I just put one fragrance thing, but I didn't really actually wear it out. But I can almost trust Ahmed Al Maghribi fragrances are insane. There is no question on quality on this fragrance. Like, I won't go too much in breaking down the notes, because I just keep feeling like this smells like, I really feel like maybe it's a Royale Sheila. I'm thinking of that because it has that or maybe is it Noir de Noir or Club de Nuit Intense Woman. Club de Nuit Intense? The black one. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's a dark rose, patchouli, and oud fragrance that's just given a skanky oud take. All these other notes of brown sugar, you know, white musks, the pear, and the berries, and they're not really doing much. I think they're just adding complexity to the fragrance and depth and texture, otherwise it'd be boring. But this is one of those fragrances that you feel like you've smelled a million times before, only they added a skanky oud take, and it's well blended. I just, for 138 where I'm at now, I feel like this is a fragrance that can easily be replaced in my collection. And I have to say, the skanky oud accord in this is not paired with something so wildly innovative that I'm just like, this is the winner. Like, this is the winner. I think just kind of it's just kind of fun. You know, it's beautiful, it's well blended. But again, with those DNAs, I definitely feel like you only need one in your collection. You don't need a million. And so yeah, but guys, I don't know where this fragrance lies in terms of similarity. I really feel like it's Arija Sheila, that rose and patchouli fragrances. That's exactly the DNA. I don't know if I'll spend some time and smell it again and do like side to side, because you know I have a Rijal Sheila the sample, so I'll do side to side in Club de Nuit Intense and try to figure it out before I post this, and maybe I can put a little note for you guys to tell you what exactly I'm smelling, but I can't pull it out of my head. But it's beautiful, it lasts long. I definitely, we all know with Ahmed Maghribi fragrances, you never have to douse the longevity, so I think a win is a win in this situation. A win is a win. Okay, then lastly, we have Shaghaf Oud Royale. Now, I haven't ever gotten a fragrance that is close to the infamous Oud for Greatness for DNA. I think I smelled that fragrance once, and that was years ago, and it just never appealed to me, so I don't even remember the quality of the fragrance or anything like that. What actually ended up happening is that I got what is it, Bari Al Oud Amethyst, and then I smelled Bari Al Oud for the black one, and then yeah, Oud for Glory, and then I ended up just like kind of smelling around that DNA, but I never went to re-smell it because I just felt like that DNA is so overdone, so it's nothing innovative. But I did, and because I love my Bari Al Oud Amethyst so much, I felt like it's a little bit redundant to have that DNA in my collection. I definitely felt like it was so redundant because that is just, Bari Al Oud Amethyst is fair, it's not that well blended, but it's an innovative touch on that Oud for Glory. I don't think there's any Oud for, except for one that I recently got, guys. There is only one fragrance that has taken over my thoughts of Oud for Glory, and I'm so glad I bought a full bottle of that. I did not know, that was a complete blind buy. I haven't seen anyone do a review on this, and it was like a 120 ml. I saw it for like €60, and they've been selling at 150, 200, and it's super duper new. It's the Orientica, the black one, whiskey something, the black one. That is a brilliant. But anyways, I'm segueing. So this smells like saffron, leather, nutmeg, oud, patchouli, musk. Nothing different. I actually questioned myself how Haltane smells like and whether this is closer to Haltane. I've never smelled that either, just no interest. But of course you can smell lavender, nutmeg, and patchouli, and then some oud in this fragrance. I think those are the biggest thing. This performs like a beast, is a beast. I feel like it's an easy blind buy for, especially for a man. I feel like they would just really, really enjoy this fragrance. It's unique. It's one of those fragrances that, yes, it can be overdone and overworn, but like you can never take away the personality. I feel like this is one of those fragrances that you wear and it doesn't take over you by being too cologne-y. It's just kind of a vague fragrance, and I think it allows you to become, the perfume kind of morphs into you because you can add your personality, you can add your twist. It's almost like one of those fragrances that's so palatable, anyone can wear it and add something to the fragrance, you know? So I definitely understand why this has been duped a million times. Now that I've gotten whiskey something, there is no reason why I'll even be looking here. I had considered buying it because I wanted the Shaghaf Oud collection, but I'm totally gonna be honest with you. It didn't do anything new. It didn't do anything that would replace my Amethyst. Not to say the blending quality is worse or the same. The blending is so much better in this. In fact, I wish Amethyst had just been so well blended, but I haven't had a fragrance that does exactly what it does, but in a better blended way, because I love that fragrance so much. But yeah, this was the samples and the tasters. Now let me know, have you smelt any of these fragrances? Have you smelt Zumar? Have you smelt Oud for Glory? Do you feel like Oud for Glory has a place on your shelf? Is there a take on that DNA that absolutely stumps everything else that you've smelled? Or do you feel like the original is so beautiful that it cannot be duped? Let me know what you think, and until next time, let's see each other soon. Bye.